Hi, I'm Peter.
And I'm Cadmia.
Welcome to the This and That Chat.
Show.
You said show again.
I did say show again.
But it's the Q&A. It's the
Q&A. For
the
parenting.
Q&A.
We put it out there a week ago to give everyone plenty of time.
And we reposted.
Because
there was some people who missed out last time.
it was via request.
Yes. Yep.
We'd like to respond to our fans' requests.
So we made sure we put the date when we were going to record, so everyone had plenty of time to get their questions in. Mm-hmm. And the verdict is in?
Yes. Drum roll.
We got zero questions. What in the world happened?
Bro, a train wreck.
What happened?
A train wreck.
How do you request?
Listen.
We didn't have that. We did not have that on our radar.
Do you know? Yeah. And you know what's the funny thing to me is that once we put out there, hey, ask us anything, right? The response that I got anyway was, what do you mean? Who is this for? What do we ask?
There was confusion.
It's the simplest thing, right? And it became the most complicated.
The best comment was, hey guys, we're having a Q&A. And then the response was, what's a Q&A?
No, that we did not get that.
Yes, we did.
No, we did not get it.
It's on the family chat.
No, there was nothing that said, what's a Q&A?
It said,
no.
Yes. Oh, no, it said, what are questions? But can I show it to you?
Oh, you can. I'll let you scroll.
Hold on.
I'll let you scroll if
No.
needed. Somehow, I feel like in the future, we need to edit these things to happen instantaneously. Like when Rachel Ray would make 15-minute meals. 30-minute meals, right?
Yeah,
and
but 4 hours of prep.
She puts her water to boil, and she comes and cuts an onion. She comes back, the water is boiling already.
You sure about them 5 minutes?
And then it was like, wait, I don't know how she's making meals in 30 minutes. Although, I will brag, I can whip up a full dinner in 30 minutes.
Okay. So I'm going to read it word for word.
This is Leah's response. This does not count because she was making fun.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Well, okay. You got to clarify.
When you send in questions, the chat responds. What are questions?
She was making fun of the fact that it seemed as though this was a doozy of a stumper. I don't know. So I was trying to think, right? What was the difference between when we said Q&A for the anniversary edition, right, versus a parenting Q&A? Because a lot of the responses that we got were, is this for people only that have kids? No. And that also applies to, you don't have to be married in order to send us a question, because it wasn't the Q&A for the anniversary wasn't questions about how do you know that you found the one, or how do you make a marriage work? No.
It's questions about us.
About us, right? So it's almost, for lack of a better way of putting it, right? It's almost you satisfying your curiosity, right?
Right.
For example, right? We all, as a family, went to get tattoos together when our kids were under the age of legally being able to get a tattoo.
No. We forged paperwork.
No, we did not.
I forged the paperwork.
Oh my God. Bro,
I forged the paperwork. When we went to get our first tattoos, I forged paperwork for both Nikki and Mike.
Bro.
I'm dead serious.
A parent's allowed to sign off on it, right?
Yes, but they have to be a certain age either way. They both had to be 16. and they weren't.
One of them wasn't.
I had
One
to
of them
forge
wasn't.
paperwork for Nikki.
Okay, I didn't know that.
The only thing
I
that
learned
saved
part.
her was the fact that she was
And they didn't have to show any form of ID.
no, because it was a parent signature.
That's what I'm saying.
I just put her birthday different.
Different. Okay, but I think. Well, I don't think. I know that when that happened, that caused a lot of questions to come up, right? Over our choice to allow them to ink their body before they were 18, right? And I feel that from there we can go into so many other different things that the parenting questions were supposed to be the same, right?
Yeah, the same concept, same
You
idea.
had it right. You had kids at a very young age, like
How was
what
that?
were your challenges?
What was a funny story that happened with
Why?
you and the kids?
Why did you have kids at such a young age? Anything, right? I mean, we got asked all kinds of things for the anniversary edition, right? So it was interesting to me that it came across as a different topic altogether. That people felt like, well, I don't have kids, so I don't have any questions.
Right.
Right? I'm not even thinking about having kids, so I don't even have any questions about that. It was, to me, I was expecting 2 or 3 questions at the very least, and there were 0
Nothing.
questions.
So much so that I reposted again.
So
Just in
funny.
case.
I was like, really?
Just in
Really?
case.
I feel like this was a prank for us.
I'm going to, how funny would it be if I go and check right now?
And there is a question.
And there is a question?
Well, we can always answer it at the end.
Let's see if there's...
At the
if there
end.
is.
This is why I'm scared to do a live episode, because, people have said, oh, I want to do a live episode. And then the day that we decide to do a live episode, there is nobody watching online at all. No
Nada.
live stream. Nothing.
Nada.
Nothing
Zip,
at all.
Nada. Nothing. Our post
And,
got,
I also wonder...
and our post got likes, so people saw it.
I also wonder if there's more of a... I don't want to step on anyone's toes by asking this question kind of thing. Like, I don't know. My mind has gone into all sorts of ideas of why. Because I know that throughout the years, there has been strong opinions from why we chose to homeschool for a certain amount of time, why we said yes to some things, why we said no to some things. And I felt this was everybody's green light to ask away.
Ask away.
We'll tell you why, or why not, So I don't know.
We scared them away.
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's just, wow. I was very surprised about that. So
Yeah.
I would love to know if on the title, are you able to do a strike through?
Oh, like
where
scratch
it's
it
called,
off and put it...
Yeah, where it was called
Parenting
Q&A, and then
put the
it's
next
something
one?
else.
Yeah. I'll do that.
And
That's a good
instead
idea.
of this being episode 82, boom, there we go. Dang it, sorry. Right? This is episode 82, no?
Something like that.
Right? It could be 82.5, somewhere in the in-between.
Well, 82 never happened, so no, this would be 82.
This would be 82. Anyway, I think it's a curious thing that I'm curious.
If we get bombarded by questions...
I would well, listen, to me,
Hold on,
this has only been put on hold.
Yeah, if we get bombarded by questions, then it would be 82.5.
Okay, I love it.
'Cause
And
it'll-
maybe it's in 93 and then all of a sudden it's episode
82.5.
82.5. That'll be funny. But yeah, I don't know. I just
It is what it is. And,
yeah.
And
And like I said, I put it on pause. I figured, you know what, at some point later on, this is going to be a thing. Or it could just be a thing that I feel like we've talked little bits here and there, but who knows? Maybe one day that'll be a thing.
yeah.
But
So,
in
with that said,
other news, oh, did you want to say something?
no, it was transitioning
In
us.
other news, Happy Father's Day.
You know,
I did have a special request of something for today.
for me. Oh boy.
Yeah. The request was
From?
someone who wanted you to open your Father's Day presents on camera, for me to just hand them to you, and then you can unbox and show everybody what you got. Which, pin that.
It would be a 3-hour podcast.
No, it would not.
Bro, every 5 minutes I had a new box coming in or something.
I like to spoil you.
Can we tell the story about the shirts? What happened?
Sure.
Did we talk about that?
I don't think so. I don't remember. You're the one who listens to it again.
I know.
So I don't know.
Okay, go first. Finish what you're saying.
Well, I was saying that there was a special request that it would be nice for us to either do a haul unboxing of, hey, we went to such and such place and these are the things that we got, or for there to be a fun, it would have been good for our anniversary, right? We have a budget of $20 and it's like an individual thing where we're shopping for the other person, and then there's going to be like the big reveal. This is what I did with my budget. Here you go. And it's something, it can't just be you went to the dollar store and filled out $20 worth of Dollar Tree stuff, right?
Okay.
It has to be something unique. So you had to put a lot of thought into it. Where did you go? Where did you search for it? You know, and then.
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
We should do, you know which one I would love to do? Mm-hmm. Have you seen the trend where you go into a store? Mm-hmm. They usually do it with the Goodwill.
Okay.
But I know that you wouldn't do because if you were to buy something to wear from the Goodwill, you'd want to take it home and wash it and that kind of stuff first.
Yeah.
But there's a trend that was popular just a little bit ago, not too long ago, where you'd go in with like $20, and then you'd have to find the most ridiculous ensemble for your partner, whoever you went in with. So sometimes it was like two sisters going, or husband and wife, or two friends, or whatever. And then you'd pick the most ridiculous getup, and then you'd have to wear it the entire day. So I saw one where it was a husband and wife, and they went in, and there was no sizes spoken about. So you know how fun that was for the husband. And he had to put together an ensemble for his wife to wear, and then he wore what she picked out for him, and they went on a date night. It's ridiculous.
For both of them.
Oh my goodness.
For both of them.
Absolutely ridiculous. Really funny though.
I have never seen that trend. I'm curious.
You don't do well with trends. We talked about that this weekend.
Yeah, well, I do see trends 3 months later.
Yes, but
where they're no longer trends, and I'm super excited to show somebody, hey, have you seen them? They're like, this is months old.
Old news.
Old news. I don't know why my algorithm is like that.
I think it's the way you scroll.
Maybe.
Because so Instagram has that new shared threads. What is it?
Blends.
Shared blends, whatever it's called. And I go on there, and our blend cannot be further from what I normally see on
your own,
on my page.
Really?
So I think so
do you get a lot of makeup videos
on the thing? No, like I looked at it today. I hardly go on the blend anymore because it's so geared towards you.
Really?
Yeah, because so here's the problem, right? So I know the videos that you will watch. The problem is that I send you more videos than you do watch.
You send me more videos than I actually watch. Okay.
What ends up happening a lot of times is I'll open up my phone to what I sent you, and I will scroll through the stuff that I sent you to show you, but it's on my phone.
Okay.
So your algorithm is not picking up that you're watching those things. It looks like you've ignored them.
Oh.
Okay. So the blend, what it does is it takes into account what you look at, and it takes into account what I look at,
right,
or what I send to you. and then it creates this other thing. So if there's something Godzilla, I send it to you. I know you're gonna love it. If there's a video of people falling on their face, I send it to you because you enjoy those videos. So if it's something cool that happened with baseball that I want to explain it to you, I'll send it to you. So when you look at our blend, it's Godzilla, people falling, and baseball.
Okay.
Or UFC. That's it. There's nothing else on there. So you're missing out on all the trends because...
But that's on our blends. Why don't I run across trends on my own while I'm scrolling?
Because of the things that you like. Your algorithm... Goodness. That was a strong yawn. I felt that one in my chest.
Because you know what time it is right now?
Nap time.
That's why nobody sees us with coffee.
I know.
Yeah.
So your algorithm is based on the things that you like and the things that you watch and actually give time to. But you scroll so weird.
Okay, and I know that you have told me while you're kind of like looking over my shoulder, you've told me, oh, but you didn't even finish watching the video. And the thing is, it has to have my
Has to captivate
attention.
you.
And there's times where there's these videos that I detest. Clickbait videos. Detest them. And if I even get a whiff that it might be clickbait, might be,
You move on.
I move on. I give you a couple seconds and I feel that, this is not where it's going. I'm not giving the time. Or the ones that say, watch until the end. Nobody. It could be an amazing, and I could be missing out on an amazing
I
video.
usually just scroll to the end. You click on the video and you just scroll the bottom and look at the end.
Oh, interesting.
But the problem with that is, so this is what happens to me. If I'm doing something and I'm just dead scrolling, I will...
Isn't that called doom scrolling?
I call it dead scrolling because I'm not really paying attention to it. I think it's just for the noise.
But I think that's what doom scrolling is.
So doom scrolling. Whatever. I'll sometimes just leave it on one of them and it'll just repeat it. You've told me this.
Yeah.
Before.
But that's because you're falling asleep.
Not always.
Then why would you be?
Because I'm doing something else in my mind. I'm thinking about something.
So your eyes are looking, but your mind is elsewhere.
I'm somewhere else, yeah. If that happens, I had a very bad day. If I get to that, it's because my day was so stressful.
So I just want to clarify for the viewers. In my presence, the only time that has happened is when you're fighting sleep. And you're within, because I look over at you after I hear, because you know what? I will watch a video 2 or 3 times if it's a video where something happened and I'm trying to zoom in or what's going on. I'll let it play a couple times. When I'm next to you and I hear the video is on 4 or 5 times, I look over at you to say, what's the big deal, right? I feel like you would have already gotten the gist of it, and that's when I see you're like in and out, right?
Zombie.
So I've never seen you just staring at your phone and your mind is somewhere else, right?
Sometimes
what is that? I call it dead space.
Yeah.
When you're in dead space.
But it's not dead space though.
No, I know. So I've never actually seen that for myself.
Yeah, for me it's not a dead space situation. It's kind of like I need to transport myself to another world. Mm-hmm. And there's
like
times,
space?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's times where I've like walked out of that, like came out of it, and I look at my screen, and I'm like, why did I just give 50 views to the same thing? And then what ends up happening is my algorithm picks that up, and I get the same crap, the
same thing
over and over.
And you called it dead scrolling.
Dead scrolling.
Right. And you were transporting yourself to space. Right.
So dead space? Are you over here trying to...
Just like trying to see if we arrived at the same place. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so I don't know why was I talking about them.
We were talking about...
Why were we talking about blends and trends? Oh, because you said something about...
Oh, because I said you miss out on trends.
I did.
I talked about the trend about the going
the Goodwill stuff.
Oh, the people said to take $20 to buy something for each other.
Yes.
Boom, we're back.
Yeah, we're back. But anyway, you talked about the Goodwill thing, right? And I don't know why I thought this in my mind, but it really has nothing to do with what we're saying here. But I have seen people go to Goodwill and spend time to look for the brand name stuff.
There's
right?
sometimes
True Religion, Levi's, I guess, was a big thing at some point.
But I'm saying sometimes it's good because the clothes that gets donated, sometimes they're just going into somebody's closet and saying, just give this all to Goodwill.
Right. And it's expensive stuff
And
that they bought for $3.
Yeah.
And so I've seen them do that. I like seeing videos like that where they will go thrift store shopping and they will show you. Nobody's going to walk out with a Louis Vuitton bag, but.
Be careful. Be careful. There's a guy who he thrifts these stores and he finds like one of the biggest things that he likes to find is silver. So a lot of times he'll get like a bunch of like silver pieces and they'll put it all in a bag because it came from some China set or from something. And he'll buy these little bags for $4 or $5 and he pulls the silver out of him and it's a couple $100.
Ah, I remember where I was.
So there's a business there.
Yeah.
The crazy part is, and this is what a lot of people don't know, and if you don't believe me, look it up. Goodwill, Salvation Army, a lot of these places are businesses. Of course
they're businesses.
I know, but they're working under the guise of being
a nonprofit,
charity, nonprofit, and all this kind of stuff. No, they're for profit.
Okay, but
They're
been on the other side of that corporate business backdoor operations thing, right? There are ways for you to make money and still be a nonprofit. There's just metrics that you have to, or boxes will say that you have to check off in order to qualify to be under a nonprofit, and yet still you're making profit.
All right.
Okay. So those are just loopholes that are written in. And a lot of businesses exploit that because you get huge tax cuts. And you are making money. And it is not at all,
Goodwill, South Florida, last year reported that they had revenues of $199 million. $199 million. There's no skirting. You're a profit business. That is not nonprofit. Goodwill Industries International, that's the umbrella corporation, that's including all of it, reported $7.6 billion.
But we're not. Wait, I'm confused what you're trying to say, because
that they are not nonprofit.
But they are probably listed as a nonprofit.
Absolutely not.
They're not listed.
There's no way.
Okay, but you could be.
Not making that much money.
Yes, making that much money. You can be. I don't know if they are or they're not. I'm asking you, what's the
Is Goodwill a nonprofit? Bro, how is it that they're nonprofit?
So I'm going to explain to you in very, very simple terms why they're a nonprofit, okay? As long as, there's a couple other things that go into this, okay? But as long as you can show that this money is being made and put back into Goodwill, okay? Either in payroll, in other entities that are serving Goodwill, if you can show that you're doing that, and your CEOs, it's not that they're making billions of dollars, okay?
Well, the CEO made $616,000 last year.
But that's his payroll. So as long as it's payroll and operations and being put back into refurbishing stores, opening new stores, going to events and doing all that stuff.
This is why I don't trust.
Exactly. That is the loophole of a nonprofit. Crazy, right?
Ridiculous.
Yeah. And you're talking about billions of dollars But as long as you can come around those loopholes.
Well, I told you, I heard in a recent podcast that there were a lot of these nonprofits. Like, one of the biggest ones that they lie and cheat on is the veteran stuff.
Which is
like,
such a...
that's just a low blow. It's yeah. Like, you know, to go into the, you know, to have a face of, oh, we're helping veterans. And then it's like they're sending like 12 cents to the dollar, you know? So,
anyway, where I was that there had been this request for you to open up your Father's Day presents on camera. And so...
Wow, we just went...
What happened was that you've never been able to just wait until it's time. I think the only time that I can force you to wait is if it's Christmas, and it's because we're going to be with the kids. There's a whole like, hey, we're all opening up on Christmas Day. But
can we be fair though?
About
this happening on your side too?
What do you mean? If you tell me to wait, I will wait. I'm giving you the chance right now to say if that's inaccurate or not.
I'm going to test it.
Okay.
That won't work.
Why?
Because I can't wait to give it to you.
And that's the other thing, is that I'm sure if I could keep it shut.
How many times have I told you? Okay, hold on. Do you have your...
What are you looking
behind
for?
You. The Lego thing that I bought you for the Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, it's behind me.
Okay, so
which I talked about that.
Yeah, so I bought that for you, hiding, and I told you about it before it came in.
I know, and that's the thing.
Because I was so excited though, because I was getting the notifications that it was coming.
Yeah. Oh, and then I think it may have been delayed, and that sort of got you a little angsty, and then you had to say it. So here's the thing. I feel like when I'm excited about something, I can't keep a secret about it. Okay? So if I arrive when the package is here, and you don't even know the package was here, I could hide it. I could keep my mouth shut until the day of the very moment right now that we're sitting right here, right? And say, boom,
do you have
surprise. Bro, if I had more surprises, that would be a problem. That would be a problem, because your birthday and Father's Day is like right there.
Our bank account is wrecked.
Bro.
It is.
Bro.
It is. Thankfully, part of it came back off of mistake. Okay, you know what? Let's talk about this live.
Hold on.
Okay, go.
But pause it, because I don't want you to forget what you're saying. But at the end of the day, what I'm saying is that I either will get super, super excited that I'll make a comment about, I can't wait for you to open your birthday presents. And then you're like, give it to me now. Give it to me now. Tell me what it is. You just get like, I need to know. And I feel that I don't have the willpower to say absolutely not. Because now you've fueled me, right? So that's where we're at in that. And of course, there's the other part where sometimes you've arrived home before I get there, and now I have to tell you, do not open any packages, but it's written on the outside of the package. If you see that it says MLB Shop, Fanatics, right?
Yeah.
Fanatics?
Mm-hmm. Fanatics.
Are Roosevelt's, then it's giving it away that obviously
you gotta
this
click
is mine.
on the little tag that says it's a gift. So
it still says it.
No, they wrap it up differently.
No, I don't think so. The only thing is they don't send you the receipt inside. So you don't see what the person spent. But even I mean, unless it was Amazon, that's the only way for you to hide it.
It reminds me of the story. The dad was walking back home from school with the two girls, and the dad had bought the Barbie super dream house, and they delivered it to the front of the house, and they just left it in open box.
And I gotta say, like, for Christmas,
I would be upset.
Well, no, but here's the thing: if it's Amazon for anything, but I only care during Christmas time, okay, Or let's say if I'm sending the kids something that maybe a neighbor might be tempted to take, right? There is a box that says, do you want to help the environment or something, and having it come exposed and not covered in a box.
Right.
During Christmas time, I click that box for everything because I don't want anything ruined. If you don't notice it though, then you get it and you're like, wow, everybody knows you got the Barbie dream house, right? So anyway, the plan failed for today because the things came in, they were clearly labeled, and even though it was sealed and you didn't know what was inside, you were so excited to open it. I was so excited to see you open it that now you are wearing part of your gift, and you even decided to keep the hat, which was the wrong size.
But it works.
I think you want it to work so badly that it works.
The hat
it works.
It's a little bit...
But you're the one who knows what it feels like.
Yeah, it's a little bit on the bigger side. Mm-hmm. But
which to me would be so good because it's not pressing on my temple.
Slightly bigger. So,
okay. Not too bad then.
Yeah, not too bad.
And I love everything about it. Mm-hmm. I love everything about it.
So I got my white Dodgers hat with my Dodgers shirt on now. And then you got me another hat with the baby blue on the bottom, which is like their City Connect stuff. And you guys saw the Padres one last week that I had. That was the City Connect, but the Dodgers had a lighter blue. And then you got me a Ohtani shirt. You got me 3 of the Roosevelt shirts. Another cool shirt that had a design that was very wild. Very nice.
Yeah, it was, but just so that you can explain, it to me it had some graffiti tattoo vibe to it. Yeah, it's a skull with so much color sort of bleeding out of it, but also planets.
Yeah, the planets are falling out of it and stuff.
Yeah, it was very cool. I did get you shoes.
My shoes, which ended up being a really funny transition. So, okay, so here's what happened on Friday.
So I have found my source of failure.
Hold on. Can we go back to Friday?
Yes.
Okay. So last week you guys heard that we had our time on vacation and I went to New York. I wore my nice shoes. They look dress up.
I think you said it on here that you had no tread left.
I wore them out. So I had no shoes to go out. And I did not have that click until we packed to go away this weekend. And we left on Friday. So on Thursday night, I told you, I was like, I have no shoes. What are we going to do? And on Friday, we were going straight to the hotel because we had the show. It was at 7:30, so we were like running to get there. And you were like, I got something for you. You went and got
Part one. Mistake of Father's Day presents.
So you got me some shoes to kind of help me start my because
you said you wanted to be a
sneaker,
or you were
my shoe
you were a
infatuation stuff.
Yes.
So you bought me some shoes. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you bought shoes that you
wanted to see on
me.
Correct.
But I have a very specific kind of
idea
and style thing that I'm kind of developing as I'm kind of embracing.
Yeah.
And the shoes didn't work.
Right. So
they weren't.
If you could imagine,
not that they were ugly.
Well, I mean, anybody can look these up, right? They're the Vans high cab, right? So it's a chunky shoe that's meant to be worn with the tongue sort of out, with the, I don't know, just like a.
To me, it's a sloppy shoe.
Well, that's how you see it, right? But to me, I see this cartoon drawing with like these like really like just like floppy shoe. I don't know. I don't know how else to put it.
The way I
but
explained
it is
it to
a
you
style. Right. It's a style, right? And in my mind, here is the part that was very difficult for me to process is that I had this idea in my head of I know exactly what type of shoe I can see him in, right? And every single thing that I said, I love it, I love this, you're like, I don't like it at all. And that's the first time that I've ever come across that because you have liked every shirt I've pointed out, every style I've pointed out, everything that I've ever done in the last 25 years is dress you, right? And you've liked everything.
Because
even
it's not
now,
that
I can very confidently go and buy you stuff from Roosevelt's or even like the hats and everything. And I feel like I know your style.
Because those are more clear cut things.
Right. And maybe because
but
you've
like
never like
I've
really
always,
been in shoes.
Yeah, but I've always talked to you, like something that I've always said. You've always purchased for me more on like the darker color, muted color kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And I've always said to you, I was like, man, I feel like I only have black and gray shorts, like, you know. And just recently, I got myself. We talked about this, where I got some colors and I got some other stuff that I'm able to do.
Right. And, then, also, I just want to say, because of the places that we would purchase from, that's a lot of graphic T-shirts that you have, right? And these T-shirts normally are
all in black.
Are printed on a black shirt. So it just happened to be that there's a lot of dark clothes that you have, not because that's a style choice that I have for you, because I have sort of, I feel like I'm the one who said, hey, try on the flower shirt and try on the neon colors shirt, you know, because that is
there's expanding. There's like some expanding that's happening. But one of the things that happened was, so when I put together the shoe, I had in my mind, okay, these will work. They're not quite my style. I think I can make it work. Let me try. So I laced them up, right, with the cross lace. I'm sorry. I laced them up with the overlace, which is the one that you don't see any lace underneath the laces, and it's just straight across. So it looks like a nice solid top. And when I went to put on my shoe, because that's already a tight lace, you're not supposed to tie your shoe with that. It's just supposed to stay. You're just supposed to kind of slip your shoe on and then just put a simple knot on the top. There was no way at all that I was getting my foot inside of that shoe. What I didn't realize was that the tongue of that shoe had a pillow that was like this thick. That's why you get that floppy look.
Yeah.
But I've got big feet. So I wear a size 13 normally. 13 wide. Okay. I've always had big feet. It's very difficult for me to get shoes.
You imagine. I'm sorry. Wait.
Here we go.
I'm sorry. I was just thinking. You said I've always had big feet. Like everybody's feet are the same. You know,
it's not.
If you've.
As you get older, you change dimensions on your.
No, you don't.
Of course you do.
No, you do not.
Bro, my foot was not the same in high school. If you have a high
arc, you're gonna have a high arc always.
Okay, yes, but they're specific. That's where you shop specific shoes. Like I know in high school, when I played baseball, I couldn't wear Nike cleats. I couldn't wear Adidas cleats
because you've always had wide feet.
Because I had so the shoe,
so it doesn't change.
The cleat that I had to get was Reebok, but I can't wear a Reebok shoe. It doesn't fit. I can't wear a Nike shoe, and we saw that when I tried them on this weekend. But what was I saying?
You've always had a wide foot.
Oh yeah. So when I go to put these things on, I told you, I was like, I feel like I just put my foot inside a little kid's shoe.
And I just want to say, the morning that you were packing up the car, and you took them straight out of the box and put them right into the bag, into our luggage, I said, I wish you tried on the shoes
Well,
before.
what's that going to help us anyway?
Of course, I could have taken your sneakers that you don't like, but at least they fit. At least. And you're like, nah, it'll be fine.
Anyways, so
Lo and behold.
I had to end up changing them to the cross lacing so that I could open them up, put them on, and then tie them on. And I wore them that night. And I figured, I was like, okay, maybe it'll loosen up, maybe it breaks in. At the end of the night, I was like, there's no way that this is going to work. No way. So, like I said, we were away this weekend, and on Saturday, we ended up deciding, okay, we're going to go shoe shopping. And I went to go find some shoes. And we went to the mall, and I found some shoes that I liked. It was at the Van store, but it was definitely not in the same direction as you were looking.
Exactly.
It was in a completely different spot.
Yeah.
And I had to get a size 14 because those shoes are made on the smaller side. Mm-hmm. So the 14 fit me perfect.
Yeah.
And my shoes are pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So, and we saw some shoes at the Skechers store.
Yeah.
That were very retro that I don't think you would have ever picked for me at all.
At all.
And I got a pair of those too.
And that's what I learned this weekend, was that there were shoes that I kept telling you, oh my gosh, look at those shoes. Oh my gosh, look at those shoes.
Well, you pointed some of them out, and I had to tell you, I was like, babe, I don't like those shoes.
Exactly. Which was so, I mean, it was so new to me, I think. It was just new to me to feel so out of touch, I guess, with, I mean, anybody would say you don't know him at all because you're picking stuff that he doesn't like, mm-hmm. right? That was a new feeling for me. I felt like I couldn't help you shop. I didn't know what you were looking for.
And you were like, tell me something so I can help you look. And I'm
mm-hmm.
like, I don't know. I'm like, when I see them, I will
You'll
know.
You'll
and
know.
At the Skechers store, when I walked in, I immediately saw the shoe, like, immediately. And I was like, this is it. And then you looked at a shoe that was next to it. And you were like, bring that one out too.
Yeah.
The high tops. And I'm like, I don't like the high tops.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, I think that part of it for me was a misunderstanding from what you said, that when you looked at my doodle shoes, that you said, man, those are amazing. Mm-hmm. Like the moment we stopped recording that episode, I went, because they had the men's version of it. Mm-hmm. I went and I searched for them to be able to get them for you.
Wow.
And I know.
I didn't know that.
And I know now you would not have liked them.
I would not have liked them.
Okay. But I think if you poll everybody who heard that, you specifically said on that episode, I wanted them for myself, which gave me the impression I know what you're looking for.
But the style of the shoe didn't work.
But that's where my misunderstanding came in. So
if the doodle ones were in the style of the Vans that I got, killer. Because that's that style. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that I could buy the Vans online. I would have to go to the store.
You have to go try them. And so
the Skechers I could buy online because I can kind of...
I know, unless they're work shoes, because mm-hmm. I know what work shoes you need, or unless they are your sandals, which again, it's a sandal that...
How many years
have you been wearing the same sandal and everything,
the day that they get rid of it, I'm going to be upset.
Yeah, and they've already modified it once.
They've modified it, and I complained about it.
Okay.
But my point is... I put them on my feet, and I was like, what's going on here?
That's never going to be a gift from me.
Yeah.
I'm never going to buy you shoes.
Well...
I'm never going to buy you shoes.
Eventually, you could.
I mean, but what does that take? Another 10 years for me to learn what it is?
In 10 years, I'm going to be a...
what you bought...
I'm going to be a 54-year-old hipster.
What you bought, I would describe as basic. Okay? Mm-hmm. That, because to me, there's like
a basic
tier, and then you have a trendy, and then there's eccentric. Mm-hmm. I feel, right? And when we walked into I want to say it was the Skechers store. No, I want to say it was the Foot Locker. When we walked into Foot Locker,
Oh, right.
there was a wall that had like shoes that looked like your shirt with all the color just like bleeding out. I saw 3 pairs of shoes right there that I would have bought for you, and I would have said, "Oh my gosh, exploding color!"
When we went around the
amazing."
corner, you looked at the Jordans, and you were like, "These are amazing. They look so cool. They look so nice." And I was like, "I hate those shoes."
Exactly.
I was like, and
Exactly.
you grabbed one, and you were like, "How about this one? This is nice." And I'm like, "That's the ugliest shoe on the wall." That thing was horrendous.
My God. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe one day I will buy you shoes, but I learned something this weekend, which was this is a new thing for you, I guess, you know, and
The style will have to go slow.
and there is a style that you like, and who knows, we could be recording 5 years from now, put it very short, and you could be wearing, we could have made a full circle, and you could be wearing the shoes that you said, I don't like those. Who knows? They could be, right? But I'm just happy that you're finding stuff that you like and that you're going to have something to choose from. Because I feel that right now you had your work shoes, your tennis shoes, and your
sandals.
slides.
That's
That's it. And you just alternate between those and your Crocs. That's it. So I love that you're going to have that. And like already you're like, oh, I need black shoes because I need to be able to match this. I love that.
Well,
I
the
love
shoes
it.
I bought were blue. And that's
Yeah.
not going to go with everything.
Not with everything, no. But anyway, so
Good. I ended up getting both of them blue.
yeah, one of them has more white. Mm-hmm. And the other one is like an olive-ish green color.
The olive, that olive green one.
Very, very
They're
nice.
nice.
Very specific, though. You know, and so that's the thing. It's like there's some shoes that, like, I can have these that are favorite shoes, but I can't wear them with everything.
Right.
You know, so it was just a funny learning thing.
Yeah, it was good, though. It was fun. We went to the Lego store. And,
So this weekend, I just want to go back, because I don't know if we said that we were going to go
No.
away for the weekend, because we were supposed to have the Q&A.
Well, I don't think we were. So it wasn't essentially us going away for the weekend because we didn't go away that far.
No.
But because of some tickets that we were able to get
Well,
for a
first
show.
of all, there was a big change of plans, because our coming home dates were supposed to be one, and then they got pushed. And so then we had this weekend that ended up being free. We were not supposed to be here this weekend.
What was this weekend?
This weekend I would have been coming back from my mom's,
Oh, yeah.
you know, but all of that changed.
That's
And
what it was. And then
yeah,
it
and
ended
then
up
there
opening.
was, because our calendar is pretty much full. I
Right.
think
we
that
do
there's
not have any space.
maybe December. I think we left a couple days in December because we said I think we need it to just recoup. But we always make plans to do a getaway for when I normally come back from visiting my mom.
Right, 'cause
It's like our
we've been-
reconnect, right? And it's an exciting, like we're
Do you know
gonna
how
do
wild?
something special.
I just thought about something. You know how wild it is? We've had 2 years of full calendars.
Yeah. Which is so unlike us.
It's so unlike us, and yet every single
Now,
weekend
I
we look forward to
feel-
it.
Yeah.
If we didn't do something, I'd was like,
Although sometimes that is welcome.
yes.
The ones that we don't have anything to do, you said the
But
other day,
they fit in a perfect spot.
but even you said the other day, I wish I could just sleep for a whole day. Didn't you say that? We could just sleep and sleep. And I was like, I am with you on that one. And why are you doing this to me?
Killing me.
You know how hard I'm fighting to not be yawning as well. But I would love one day where we would just sleep and eat and sleep and just eat and just like completely do nothing, right? and I don't think it's not well deserved because life is just on such a pace. But these normally, we don't even have a day like that to be able to, even on the days we are home, there's something we're doing when we're home.
Right.
And then maybe that's even why we're home. But we ended up planning this as a last minute thing, which I have to tell you, is so funny that you had asked me, you told Julie, right? Our dog sitter, about this weekend that we were going away. And I was like, yeah, right? And then I was like, but did I? So I searched my messages with her, right? And I put in June just so to see what would pop up. And it was 2024 what popped up. And I said to myself, oh my gosh, I don't have anyone watching Bandit. I don't have her scheduled. So I texted her immediately as you're sitting next to me saying, yeah, I have her. All right, to text her because I'm freaking out at this moment, right? And I said to her, this is a super, super last minute. Are you free for this weekend? Right? And I give her the times. And she's like, absolutely. So I was like, thank God.
So you didn't have someone.
I didn't have.
Good job.
I didn't have. Okay.
How about for the 4th?
How about
you? Oh, no. Yeah, she told me that already.
How about you? If you hadn't asked, we would have left. I would have checked in with her. Hey, just confirming for the weekend. So thank God that you said something, right? And she was able to.
Poor Bandit. He would have been just outside with a big bowl of water.
No,
and they're like,
bro,
good luck, buddy.
No, bro. We would never do that. But we ended up going away, and it was just happened to be that there were tickets to this updating show, which we've watched, I think, mostly on YouTube.
That's all there.
Oh, okay, and social media and everything, and it's just it's like a modern dating show, right? Which was, we love the Love and Marriage show on the cruise, and we go to, if there's 3 of them, we will go to all 3 of them. You are great at figuring out our schedule for us to be able to go to all of them, because every time it's going to be something new.
It's different people.
It's unscripted. It's new people. It can go any which way.
And that's what was great about this show. And we ended up getting tickets to both shows, and we enjoyed both shows. They were so good. They do pre-screening, and they already have the person that they're going to bring on. That's going to be the person that's doing the date and all that kind of stuff. But there are people they select from the audience. They leave wild cards in there to be able to bring people from the audience, and they date each other blindfolded on, like, it's just a first date that's blindfolded. That
they're pretty much having in front of everybody else.
So it gets wild, because the not knowing who's next to you and who you're talking to, they don't know what they look like, so they're only going off of personality and
a voice
and like what their answers are, and you can tell the nervousness that comes through with some of them,
and then there's rejection
and like,
I mean, it was a hoot and a holler. Oops.
We are reality show. We like
enthusiasts.
We like to watch our reality show stuff.
It's our guilty pleasure.
And this was literally watching it in live. It was really good. It was fun.
It was a lot of fun. And so we ended up staying there. That was why it was a last minute thing, because even though we weren't terribly far away from home, it did end at a terribly into the wee hours of the morning.
We were 10 minutes away from the hotel where we stayed, and we got back to the hotel at 1:30 in the morning.
Right. So there's no way making that. Imagine
an hour drive after that. We would not have made it.
I'm so sorry. That's a big one that got me. But we ended up just sort of having like this crazy where we stayed, because it was a lot more than we needed.
Yes.
We were
it was bougie.
In a very bougie beach resort, and we never went to the beach. We never went down the boardwalk that was there, that I was looking forward to. We never did any of that. And
The thing is that
we got a free bottle of wine waiting for us when we walked into the place. That wasn't a bedroom.
We did the stuff that is fun for us.
Yeah.
So we had a phenomenal weekend.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the same, like one of the things that I was excited to do there was they had a rooftop bar next to the pool, and to go and sit up there and maybe watch a game or just enjoy. And last night when we came in from dinner, at 11 o'clock at night, we're like, we should go to the roof and look, and we went up there and they're like, we're closing in 15 minutes. So you gotta make sure that you leave in time. I'm like, we're just looking around. We went like this. We're like, let's go. And we went back to the room.
But anyway, we did treat ourselves to an amazing dinner.
Yes.
Amazing dinner. Wow.
Yes.
I mean, it was.
It's not an every. It's a very.
That's an anniversary.
Yeah.
Dinner. And it was all seafood, and here's the thing. We had all types of seafood. Every type of seafood that you would want was on our dish, and it was perfection.
And it was something that was made in such a way that was
I just felt my mouth water
amazing.
All over again.
Yeah. So like we started off with like lump crab stuffed mushrooms and calamari. And if anybody likes calamari, you know that if it's overcooked, you're chewing rubber. Mm-hmm. I would take a bite of this calamari and it would disappear in my mouth because it was so tender, so soft, and like perfectly cooked, just amazing. The mushrooms had this lemon taste that was just so amazing with the crab and the amazing. Then you ordered Chilean sea bass,
which I've never had, but we're big fans of like Master Chef, Hell's Kitchen. They're always doing some sort of Chilean sea bass.
Yeah, and you got
it was a piece like this.
Okay, it was like this, but it was like this.
Okay, it doesn't matter.
What do you mean?
Hold on.
Fish is usually small and flat, but this was
it was fat. Yeah, it was
chunk of meat.
But anybody would have seen that, and you would have thought, "Oh God, that's small." That was so filling. You didn't need a side to go with it. It by itself was the star and more. Delicious. And it was filling, and it was so, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm going to say for anyone who's never had that? For example, my mom likes fish, but doesn't like the fishy taste. So for that reason, she doesn't like salmon because there's a fishy taste to it. She prefers, I want to say tilapia, because tilapia doesn't taste like anything. I want to say, okay? She would love a Chilean sea bass. It does not have a fishy taste at all. Not like your grouper, for example. Mm-hmm. But oh my gosh, I'm like swallowing just thinking about it. We've ordered lobster mac and cheese in other places before. And first thing that you ask is, where's the lobster?
Yeah, there's always like very little shreds.
Shreds.
Yeah.
We had chunks. And not one or two.
There had to have been
or three or four.
There had to have been probably the equivalent of 2 whole lobster tails broken up into nice
giant
chunks.
Lobster tails.
Yes.
Because there was enough lobster there for you to feel satisfied with the amount of lobster that you had.
And delicious. Like the cheeses that were in there, amazing.
And then there was the giant shrimp.
Well, that was on my that was part of my plate.
You gave me a taste.
It was the grouper. So it was prepared what they call Key West style. So it was crab meat, a piece of grouper, blackened grouper over top of it, with 3 jumbo shrimp and
There was avocado on top
avocado, and then it had like a salad over top of it. Amazing. Amazing. Just the taste of it from top to bottom. The whole meal was incredible.
The whole meal was incredible. And then, not only that, but the restaurant itself was incredible. It was a panoramic view of
on
the
the
bay.
water.
Yeah, so you saw the sunset, the boats. I mean, floor to ceiling windows. It was gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. I mean, definitely we were in there and we were like, our peasant is showing. Yay or nay?
Our peasant was showing.
Oh my gosh.
100%.
So much so that I was thinking even this morning how you had said, like, was it bad manners to take pictures of your food?
Yeah.
We would have normally. I don't know why you didn't, but today I was thinking about it again and I was thinking, might as well that you didn't do it because I don't know that it was a proper decorum for you to pull out your phone.
And by the end of the night, in us looking around and hearing everything around us, there was a lot of peasants showing. So the people behind us, they were probably just as stunned as we were. Okay, the couple that was right in front of us, I mean, let's be honest, she was in booty shorts and a t-shirt. Okay, at this fine restaurant.
Yeah.
Okay.
But surprisingly,
completely out of place.
They did not have rules about how you have
They
to come in
did.
dressed.
There was a sign at the door.
Okay, what did it say?
It says the dress code is strictly enforced. Yeah, there was no strictly enforced.
What dress code? Maybe dress code like you have
I'm
to
gonna
wear
look
a
online. I
shirt.
wonder.
Yeah,
shirt, shoes.
Shirt and shoes, okay? Because I was going to tell you, we did go online to look at their menu. And I was thinking, if there is a dress code, we would have seen it. It should have been front and center, and I didn't see anything. But I will tell you, because we went to Chop City Grill in Naples, and they do enforce the dress code. There was a doctor who came in with all his doctor friends, and they said, I'm sorry, sir, you're not wearing a jacket.
Yep.
And
no, it wasn't a jacket. It was a tie.
I think he wasn't wearing it. Or what? Or did
I
he have
wasn't wearing a
shorts?
jacket.
And he needed pants. It was something. There was something missing, and he was like, "Oh, what do you mean?" And remember, he was all like ippity, and they were like, "I'm sorry, sir."
Here's my thing though. If you're like Naples beach, where we were beach, like bro, you're gonna get people that are gonna go in there. They're gonna be in beach wear.
At least casual.
It should be. Don't look
Business
like
casual.
Like don't go in a bathing suit.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna go dress beachy, you go dress beachy. That's fine. But whatever.
Anyway, point being that shout out to anybody in the area who would like to go try out these places. The three things that stood out the most for us was this place where we went, Billy's. It was Billy's Stone Crab. Is that what it was called?
Billy's Crab.
Billy's Crab.
If you want to look at their menu, it's crabs.com.
Oh.
I know, it's horrible.
Are you sure? I don't know that I
100%.
trust this.
It's look.
God
I couldn't believe it.
Crabs.com, man.
It's crabs.com.
Do they have multiple restaurants or just the one?
They have two.
Okay.
Crabs.com.
Maybe there's one in Miami.
Look.
Hey, Billy's. Okay, crabs.com for Billy's. And look, you saw there was a 15% off?
Yeah, only online orders.
Oh. And it was so cool because they
Billy's
have
Stone Crab.
Okay. They have a wine room.
Mm-hmm.
They had a market where you could go buy seafood and also sit by the bar and eat. They had a very nice bar with games showing and all that stuff. And then they had like their dining area. So
I found it funny though, because we're our peasant showing, right? So when the waiter shows
that's
up,
the name of this episode.
our peasant is showing.
Your peasant is showing.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
When he comes out with the tray, it's all fake food, right? So it shows like the crab and the steak and all that stuff. It's all fake.
Yeah, but that's the specials.
Right. So
and he comes to give you the prices.
yeah, and he
I
starts
only
going
kept hearing like 300,
300,
279.
You can share this.
You can
it's
share.
half a tray. You can share it. $4.29.
$4.29. I'm
$4.29.
I'll have a side salad.
What? Water? Is that free?
The sides you have to pay for.
Yeah.
The meals do not come with sides.
The mac and cheese was $30.
Was it worth it though?
I would pay $60 for that mac and cheese.
And it was a shareable size.
It was, yeah. We couldn't finish it all. We couldn't finish it all.
It was a shareable size.
We definitely did eat with our eyes.
Well, if you're only going once, that's the thing, right? You're only going once.
But we could have done.
I did tell you it was overkill.
Bro.
And then I asked you for it.
And then you asked, thank you.
Okay.
I was about to.
I'm saying it how it is.
Yeah, okay. Because I was like, do we do the mushrooms or do we do the calamari? And you're like,
it's overkill.
I don't know. And I was like, do we do them both? And you're like, I don't know. It seems like it's over. You said, I think it's overkill. And then we're like, okay, well, let's look at what we're going to eat. And then we looked at what we're going to eat. And I was like, what appetizer?
We were supposed to share.
And I was like, what appetizer do we get? And you were like, both of them. I was like, what happened to overkill?
Oh my
goodness. It was so good.
So amazing. So
good.
And for lunch, Go Bistro.
Mm-hmm. Had some
super neat little sushi and ramen place that you recognized that we'd been in that area at another point.
I picked you up from the airport. Yes. I had picked you up from the airport last year. Bro, I'm telling you. It was when I picked you up from the airport last year.
Hold on, because I do remember this, but then...
No.
I know when we went there. We went there when we went to the beer fest.
Okay.
But we've only been there that once.
Right, but we were going.
We were going.
When I picked you up. And then we ended up going.
Packed.
Right.
We couldn't find any parking. It was getting late. We were so hungry. Oh my gosh. I don't remember what we did for food. But I do remember that you picked me up from the airport and we were supposed to. But so you remembered, and I didn't remember. I don't think I'll ever forget the name of that place anymore. But it's so cool. Like, they've got anime playing. The art on the wall is amazing. Their rolls are delicious. Everything. Their bao buns.
The bao buns? I think next time I'm ordering just that for me. I could have eaten 10 of those things. So delicious.
Amazing. Oh my gosh. So that place, amazing. And it's in a strip where there's other things. There's the ice cream right next door, which is amazing. And there's other restaurants there. So if you park there, there's a lot of places for you to eat. And what would you say this is? Hollywood, Dania Beach area.
Yeah, it's on Hollywood Boulevard.
Maybe Go Bistro has other locations, I want to say.
Right, but the Go Bistro is on Hollywood Boulevard.
Okay, that one. And then breakfast. We did it 2 days in a row. It was amazing. Amazing.
All right, and we'll end with breakfast.
Okay.
This is where we're going to wrap up, but I want to tell you something.
Which I told you to pin something way back, and you never talked about it.
Oh, we didn't? Well, we'll go back to it then. What was that?
You didn't say, but I feel like it was something about money. You were going to tell a story about how we got it back.
With what?
Because you said something about when I had bought you gifts. You said something about you wrecked the bank account, and then you said, "Oh, but we got it back."
Oh,
Can
the
I
story.
Tell the story. That's what you said.
Okay, we'll end with that story, but I'm going to talk about breakfast, and then we'll end with that story. So yesterday, we went to breakfast. We found this place.
Bake Shack.
Like, really cool donuts.
And that place outside looks like a teeny tiny dentist office that's blacked out windows.
So they have like really cool
unassuming
craft donuts, and then they had breakfast. So we had...
And specialty coffee.
Yeah, specialty coffee. So we had a caramel latte, delicious, phenomenal coffee. And then we had... you had a blueberry crumble donut.
Yeah.
and I had a cinnamon roll crunch donut or something. Delicious. Amazing. And then we had breakfast. And breakfast, they called it the doughboy. So the bread was made with the same type of dough that a donut is made. It's not a donut, so it wasn't glazed. It didn't have the sweetness. It was just like that same fluffy kind of thing, but done like a roll. And then it had eggs and bacon. It was like a breakfast
Avocado,
sandwich.
yeah.
Delicious. Absolutely delicious. Great way to start the day. While we're sitting there, all these plates are coming out from the kitchen. People eating. There's waffles. There's chicken and waffles. There's French toast. There's omelets. There's burritos. There's all kinds of stuff. And we were like, all right, we got to come back tomorrow. And we'll have breakfast tomorrow. We can try another donut or whatever. So we go back this morning. You order your food. I order my food. You got the churro donut. I got a cinnamon roll because they looked really, really nice. We got our same coffee. And then I ordered chicken and waffles. And you ordered an omelet.
Yeah.
Okay. You talk to me about your omelet.
It was amazing.
Delicious? No complaints?
No complaints.
Your churro donut? Delicious?
Delicious.
No complaints?
No complaints.
Your coffee? Minus the fact that they screwed up your cup?
We should have taken a picture.
That was horrible.
Yeah. No, it was
Delicious?
delicious. Delicious.
My breakfast sucked.
I know.
All of it did.
I know.
Every single bit of it was horrible.
And don't let that deter anybody from going there.
No.
It was just
I would
a
go
choice.
back.
Of course. It was.
I would go back. The cinnamon roll?
It was.
No.
Do you say that you went 0 for 3?
This morning? No, I went 1 for 3 because the coffee was good.
Oh, okay.
I didn't have any issues with the coffee.
Oh, yeah.
So I got the cinnamon roll, which looked absolutely amazing.
Can I say something about a cinnamon roll? And I don't know if you'll disagree with me.
Okay.
To me, the most amazing cinnamon roll I've ever had.
Cinnamon.
Ever. Cinnamon.
100%.
They never miss.
Never.
The way that dough tastes, the
Beautiful.
glaze, like
Amazing.
all I think about.
Delicious.
I would go down to City Walk.
Yes.
Just to go there.
Delicious. 100%. I'm with you.
Okay.
I've been chasing.
Nikki makes amazing cinnamon rolls.
I've been chasing that stupid cinnamon roll for like a year now. So we got to figure it out. Anyways, maybe on the 4th, we'll find a.
Maybe there's something. Yeah.
No. We'll find a Cinnabon. You know what the worst part is?
Because I don't know. I've never even seen a Cinnabon.
Bro, we walked by a Cinnabon.
Don't even start with me.
In
we
the
walked
mall.
by an Auntie Anne's.
No. In the mall was a Cinnabon. And let me tell you.
For the love of God.
Let me tell you. I looked at it and I was like, no. Because I knew we were going out that night. I didn't want to fill myself. I regret it. Anyways. I take a bite of the cinnamon roll and it feels like it's bread with some cinnamon and glaze on it. It's too thick. It's like a bread. It's like too much
Very
sugar.
dense.
Very dense.
It was very dense.
I was like, not the best. The center was a little bit better. Mm-hmm. As I left and I thought about it, I felt like that was a Friday cinnamon roll that we ate on Sunday morning.
That's what it tasted like.
Yeah.
Could have been, could have not been, because they had just pulled out that tray.
I know, but to me,
Yeah.
that's what it tasted like. It tasted like it was like when you make cinnamon rolls at home. Mm-hmm. That first one, whew, the second one, you're kind of like, third day, you're kind of like, do I toss it? Do I maybe heat it up and just eat the center? That's what it felt like. I was like, I'll redeem it with my waffle. I love waffles. You know I love waffles. Horrible. Not happy with the waffle. The spicy syrup that goes with chicken and waffles just felt like there wasn't syrup. It was like very watered down, and they just put red peppers in it. And then the chicken, the breading on it, not great. Cooked very well. I just felt like it was lacking. And I finished it all.
Can I say where you've had amazing chicken and waffles?
Go.
What's the name of that restaurant that the kids have it close to their house too? And we ate it when we were, I want to say, in Tampa.
Not Metro Diner.
Yeah, Metro Diner.
Nope.
Remember, well, not maybe not their Metro Diner, but remember we went.
The chicken and waffles was good there, but it's not the best I've had.
Really, where have you had the best?
Atlanta. Bro. Those chicken and waffles, when we went to the catfish place, remember? And I got chicken and waffles there. I think I ate the bones. It was so good. My mouth is watering thinking about it. Was so deliciously, like, seasoned and everything. That was.
It's the South. They know how to make their chicken.
Phenomenal. Anyways,
So your waffle was no good either?
My waffle. Did you see I left waffle?
I didn't notice.
When do I leave waffles?
I was fighting a terrible headache. That, this is what I was telling you before we started recording. Because I was telling you something about my eyes. I said I even put eye drops. I did this last episode too. I put eye drops to make sure I don't have an episode like that one that just happened where my eyes were so bad. So bad. I had to get up and walk out to get drops, I want to say. So Leah was telling me that she's listening to it, and I think that's the episode where I talked about the eyes inverting, and you said, oh, they invert because they're thirsty. Okay? She said she had to look this up to see if it was true or not true because she was so horrified by it, right? But she said that I said, okay, we need to call it because my eyes, right? And she could see that I was in so much stuff going on. And she says that she looked over at the podcast and she saw there was still an hour left. And she's like, oh my God, they kept going for an hour after. But
once you put the drops in, you were better though.
And the thing is, I don't remember if I got up and got the drops. Did I just try to fight it through?
No, you got up.
But I was in such a bad place. And when I was telling you that, when I was starting to tell you that before we recorded, you said something about your eyes betray you.
Oh, because I talked to you about this morning.
But then...
It was while we were at breakfast.
But you said, wait, I'm going to talk about this on the chat. So what is it that you were going to say? Because I've been holding on to this since we started. That you.
Oh, because we still got to talk about the other thing too. So, I had told you this morning that you had asked me this morning, what is it about my eyes that tells you that I am having
because you said episode. It this morning.
I called it right away. I was like, what's going on? Your eyes betray you. Your eyes tell me what mood you're in immediately. So I know that if you are having a headache or if you're not feeling good or if there's something going on, your eyes immediately let me know. So I saw that this morning. So I just wanted to point that out where I was going to say to you. It was just that fact that, like, for you, if somebody's watching you or talking to you or whatever, if they don't know you, it just looks like you're tired. Right? Because you can have that little bit of, like, your heaviness but there's a different level that happens. There's a heaviness when you're tired. That's one. There's a heaviness when you have a headache. There's a heaviness when you're upset or bothered or whatever. Those kind of go together. But you can see these things and be able to use them to read, what mood or where you're at.
So funny that and the reason I had asked you when you said something about that this morning, I can see it in your eyes. Mm-hmm. I had asked you, what is it that you see in my eyes, right? What exactly? Because there was a day where I walked into my boss's office to say something, and she said, is everything okay? And I said, why do you say that, right? Like, I was curious, why was she asking me that? And she said, because in your eyes, I see it in your eyes. And I said, oh, I have a headache. And she said, I knew it. I could see it.
No, you
and
can.
I was wondering,
if somebody knows you,
what can she see? Because I'm there doing my job, it's nobody else's business if I have a headache. Not because of anything like that, but I'm there to do my job.
Right.
I'm not there for anybody to be like, oh, poor girl, she's got a headache, I'm not looking for anybody's sympathy or anything. So I found it so interesting. She said that. She said she could see it in my eyes. And then you said, I can see it. And I'm thinking, what is it? Are they flashing like incoming migraine? Incoming migraine.
Pretty much.
So that's just so weird. Wow. No, interesting weird. But.
All right. So the story about what happened.
Yeah. I don't know what it is that you're trying to say.
Last week, Wednesday, I want to say. Are we in tune?
You're not.
Okay, so that was it. With last week Wednesday?
I don't know what story you're trying to tell, so I can't help you.
The Roosevelt story.
Roosevelt?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what you're trying to tell. Oh, okay.
Was that Thursday?
Okay.
No.
No, it was on a Sunday.
Last Sunday? Mm-hmm. Was it? Okay, so last Sunday, you're shopping, and you have a habit of just putting stuff in your cart.
I'm sure most people do.
Okay, I don't.
So how do you know what you watch that you may want to buy later?
I just put it in my notes.
What do you mean? On the website? You're on a website.
Yeah, just copy and paste it into my notes.
I need to see your notes.
I don't have anything in there right now.
So you go back and you delete it?
When I'm done with it, yeah.
Bro.
A lot of times I'll just send something to you until you order it.
I don't believe this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't believe that you use notes like that.
I do. I copy it and move it over.
Bro.
Or actually, I send myself a message sometimes. It depends on what it is. If it's something that I need fairly quickly and I'm shopping around, I'll just send it to myself as a text, and then I can go back to it. But if it's something that I'm really considering and thinking about, and like when we were doing all the camera stuff, bro, I had a whole notes that was podcast equipment, and it was microphones and decks and like mounts and stands and lights, and like I just had lists of
But what
stuff.
about like hats?
Hats?
You never do that?
No.
You never put it in the shopping cart just to see what your total will be?
No. You know what my thing with a hat is? If I see a hat and I really, really like it and I need to have it, I order it. I'm not doing the game of deciding, because what happened to me with my Tom and Jerry hat? I almost didn't get my Tom and Jerry hat. And after I got my shirt that you gave me for my birthday, was it my birthday? And I looked at it, I was like, damn, I needed that hat and I didn't get the hat. And it took me 3 days to be able to finally get it, or order it, because when I went back in to get it, they did not have my size. Mm-hmm. And I put it in there. I was like, let me know when my size is in. And luckily 3 days later it was. And the moment I got it in, I stopped I got off of my machine. I went over, got under a tree. I ordered the hat and I went back to work.
Wow.
I was like, I'm not waiting, because I'm not, this is
serious.
This is serious. Serious business.
Yeah.
Anyways. So you have a bunch of these shirts that you've put into the cart because you're kind of shopping and holding and trying to figure out what it is that you're going to do, what you're going to get, for the future, whatever. And you fell asleep with your cart open. That's what you told me.
No, sir. I'm gonna correct something, okay? That's the story you told. That's what you put out there, even though I very specifically told you what happened.
You are going to tell me that you did not fall asleep.
No. And you know this.
No.
Yes.
This is what you told me.
No, I never said that to you. I never said that to you.
Then why am I telling a story?
I don't know. I thought you wanted to tell the story about what happened because it was tied to Father's Day. But
No.
when you woke up and I told you the story about what happened, you immediately went on the family chat and you said, oh, when you fall asleep and accidentally place an order. And I figured that as like a comedian takes an actual event and twist it a little bit, right? To make it into a story, you said that, right? But I even showed you the emails, the messages to the company telling them what happened.
Yes, because you were awake.
No, honey. And
You were awake
so I
when
wonder. So now I'm getting like a whole different perspective.
Wow.
Okay, so you said that you had just woken up, mind you, and I think you were still, if I remember, you were still sort of in that dazed and confused waking up when I landed you the bad news.
I so I'm trying to like bro. I've been living a lie for a week.
But see, I didn't know that that's what you thought.
Okay, I'm looking. Go ahead, keep telling the story. So I'm what I'm looking for is what I said, because that will
Yeah, but you can just type it and it'll come up.
most likely yes.
No, it will. I can pull it up for
Was
you
this
right
2
now.
weeks ago?
No, it was last week. It was last weekend. But what is it that you're trying to pull up so I can help you?
Just what I said. I guess it doesn't matter.
Of course it matters.
No. It doesn't matter because it doesn't matter what I said. I'm telling you that I have. You know how many times I've told the story?
And but that's the thing. It's like, to me, this is news to me.
What, that I thought of it differently?
Because you said that after I told you what happened. I thought when you posted that, you were just being funny.
No way.
You were trying to...
Bro, I honestly thought that that's what happened.
But then that means you didn't even listen to me. I told you what happened, exactly how it happened, and then you turned around and told a completely different story.
So,
and
okay,
I didn't correct you for it because, again, I thought that you were...
I honestly thought that what you said to me was that you were falling asleep and you accidentally hit order on your shopping cart. Okay, hold on. Tell me what happened then.
Bro, I am so like...
Hold on. Tell me.
Wow.
Yes, I know. I am wow. Tell me what happened. How do you accidentally order a shopping cart?
So this is what I told you that happened. And you can read my email for it as well, because it's exactly what I told them happened.
I don't need the email.
Okay.
Just tell me what happened.
So I was putting things in the shopping cart.
Okay.
And when I went to go see what the total was, it said go to checkout. Right?
Okay.
So when I hit go to checkout, there was a little box that popped up that said some of your items are out of stock, right? Which to me was odd, because if it's out of stock, it tells you on the website, notify me when it comes back in.
Right.
It doesn't allow you to put it on the cart, right? So how did the stuff I put in the cart come out of stock, right? It had two choices: go back or continue to checkout. So I put continue to checkout so that I could see what did it take away, right? Because at this point, I have to enter a credit card, my address, all that stuff.
All your stuff.
Right? When I hit continue to checkout, it said, thank you for placing your order. Never asked me for a payment. Never asked me for my address. That's it. And immediately, the bank showed up. Over $300 deducted from your bank account. Just like that. Just like that. That's why I freaked out, because I've shopped with them before and it has never done that. So Shop Pay.
Wow. So okay, so I'm hearing a lot of the same things that I heard. And the reason you see me shocked and kind of like in my head is because I'm trying to figure out how I changed the words that you said to me
I
to
genuinely thought you, because listen, how many times have we talked about the comedians telling the stories, and it's like, that's not exactly what
100%.
happened, right? So to me, I thought you just took it, and instead of saying my story how it was just funnier when it was like, oh, when you fall asleep and accidentally order something, right? And because I kept telling you how horrible I felt that this had happened, even though I don't feel like it's something I could have helped, right? So the company doesn't have a phone number for you to call.
I know.
There's nobody, right? So immediately I reached out to them through Instagram and sent them an email telling them this is exactly what happened. And I never was given a choice to sign in, to put any of my information. It just charged me,
So funny.
which it never even showed me what were the shirts that were out of stock, right? It didn't show me anything, because at the end, it placed the order for the things that I had put on there, which means I had stuff in my cart from before. That probably that's what was out of stock, right? And now that I think about it, something was wrong with the website when I was doing that, because I did go and I saw that there was extra things in the cart, and I removed them from the cart because I wanted an actual total of what I was putting in the cart.
Right.
Okay. And it showed them removed. And when I went back into the cart another time to make sure that it was right, they were on there again. So there must have been something going on. But anyway, Shop Pay, for anybody who's used Shop Pay, is attached to that because that's how I paid beforehand.
Right. So it already had you as an authorized whatever.
But even then, like, I've used Shop Pay before, and it has you sign in. It has you verify your address, and for you to choose your payment.
Bro, how funny. I am in shock.
I'm in shock.
I'm in shock at how I created a story based on whatever information I pulled from words that you said.
And in all fairness, I did just wake you up to tell you that. So
you think it was maybe because I was still kind of like sleepy?
Yes, because even afterwards you told me that you still felt groggy from the nap. And I thought, and I even told you.
I remember that.
And I even told you,
did tell you, yes.
And I told you, and I saddled you with this terrible news about what happened.
That has to be it.
So.
Oh
my God, I'm just in shock that
So my story is not as great as I was thinking it was going to be.
Worse.
It's worse.
It's worse. So immediately I went in and I deleted all of my cards from Shop Pay. So right now I can't go to Shop Pay at all. Oh, no wonder. I just got a notification that a Shop Pay payment didn't go through. No wonder, because I removed everything. So it could not accidentally happen to me ever again.
I'm done.
Bro, I
feel so bad.
When you started telling the story and you were going down that route, I was like, no. We're not going to tell that version.
I feel like such a dope.
Oh, no. Who did you tell this to?
Everybody.
And everybody
I told my parents. I told my guys. Bro, the story, you're infamous. It was hilarious.
And one day when you're a stand-up comedian, you have to tell the story like that.
Bro.
That's the version of the story that you have to tell, because apparently that's the funny version of it.
No,
and then everybody started going on there when you posted that.
Yeah,
and they were like,
when you accidentally.
Bro, I can't believe. All this time I thought you were joking, and all this time you thought that was the actual version.
I feel like such a dope.
Bro, a move.
A move.
What
a move.
Oh,
Anyways.
man. Well, that was a good way to end it then.
That's a good way to end it.
Wow.
You ready to go enjoy the rest of the day? Mm-hmm. We got some baseball tonight.
Is there any daylight left?
There is. It's 4:53.
Jeez. And crackers. Jeez.
Well, we were away this morning, so our normal record time was we weren't.
Yes, home. I do want to say, even the little nieces and nephews are listening to us. Okay, Mel told me a story that she had paused it to do something, and Bree said, "Hey, I can't hear." And she said, "You can't hear what?" And she's like, "I can't hear Auntie Kay talking anymore," while they were doing their learning time. So they're paying attention. So
all right. So then, shout out to the kiddos.
To the kiddos.
Right?
I'm doomed.
I'm doomed. What does that mean?
The twins will get it. The twins will get it. But yes, shout out to the kiddos.
So
here we are. No edits today. No bleeps today.
No bleeps today.
Bleeps today. We're pretty good about it though.
Yes.
Well,
all right. Anyways, we're done. That's it. Let's go watch.
That's a wrap.
Let's go watch some baseball. Let's go decide what's for dinner. And we will be back next week with a whole new episode. Possibly a Q&A if we get any questions.
No. The Q&A is on hold.
Yeah, Q&A.
Definitely.
Q&A is on hold for a while. Anyways, hope you liked the episode. Like, share, subscribe, do all the good stuff. That's it. Hey, you got anything to add?
Sayonara.
Sayonara. I was going to say sayonara.
I think you were going to say signing off.
No, I was going to say sayonara.
Were you?
I was.
Oh, boy.
And I got thrown off.
Oh, boy.
Anyways. Goodbye now. See you next time.